Welcome to the Petoskey Plot. I'm Anthony.
Still Rufus.
And I am Marie Therese Marie.
And we're here today to talk about hell.
Ugh. Sure. The thing that every corrupt preacher has used throughout history just to try to bilk their congregation for more money. Sure. Let's talk about hell.
Well, before we get there, though, Mary, I'm rather surprised.
Why?
You appear to be drinking beer.
Yeah.
Yes, because it's Lent. And in Lent, you can have water and you can have bread. And beer is liquid bread, so that's allowed. Plus, it helps give you a foretaste of hell because I have a gluten intolerance.
Fair enough. So, Rufus,
Your crazy self-flagellation kick. Okay.
you seem to have opinions on hell.
I have opinions on everything. You know this.
That's fair, but you seem to have strong opinions on hell.
Why? This is an area where I'm going to just say that our atheist friends, most of whom are really good people, better than so many of the jerks I've met in our pews,
Yes.
have a
yes.
great point.
Good people are all going to hell.
A just
every
God
day.
wouldn't be sending people to hell. Except for, a few really, really bad ones. But most people are just trying to live their lives. Sure. They're caught up in a system that encourages racism and sexism and ableism. But most people are open to having their eyes opened, to being changed, to admitting that they need to do better. And so, God's not going to send them to hell. A little cleanup, and then they're going to be good to go.
I feel
God wishes all people to be saved. I know the Bible says that.
There is that, and I feel that at this point, the regular hosts of the show would probably go and point out that hell is actually an act of justice, and so therefore a just God could send people to hell, or maybe they'd point out that God doesn't actually send people to hell, but that people choose to go to hell.
A just God,
through the choices in their lives.
A just God would save people from that bad choice.
But what I can say on this regard, and I feel as though I can reasonably be an authority on this because I've been to hell.
No, you didn't die.
No. This was the other time. I took a Greyhound bus.
Yeah, that does sound like hell.
I went to hell, and I have to say, that place had everything.
In almost every one.
Heretics, schismatic preachers.
What are you, Orthodox now?
It probably had them too.
Oh, it had everything. It had 42 book Bibles.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with having an open mind.
But at the same time, while it had everything, there was nothing there I wanted. It was weird. Normally I go places and when I say it had everything, it has like everything, and it's all wild and interesting stuff. And here it had everything, and it was all wild and interesting stuff, except it wasn't interesting or all that wild.
But
it's kind of mundane.
But we know from the Bible that lots of people are going to hell because there's a story of Lazarus and the rich man. And the rich man was in hell. And Lazarus was in the bosom of Abraham, which was like the nice area of hell.
But the rich guy is concerned about his brothers. Therefore, clearly he still has charity. So at worst, he's in purgatory.
I don't know.
Well, okay, so
I can't disagree with you, but just because I can't disagree with you doesn't mean I agree with you.
Let's define our terms.
Okay.
What do we mean by hell?
A bad place.
The tourist trap in Michigan.
No, that's actually a better place.
So a worse place than that.
Yes.
Why would a loving God send people to a worse place? He wants what's best for us.
But if they chose something else, he couldn't force something on them.
But if
That would be unjust.
We're like children. He's like an adult. Adults force kids to do things all the time.
but if God wouldn't send us to a worse place than hell, Michigan, why would there be Ohio?
See, she's
Fair.
got you there. I don't
Fair.
think you can refute that.
The existence of Ohio
proves the existence of hell.
That's fair. I have been to Columbus.
Columbus actually wasn't that bad.
I mean, I enjoy Kosai, but
It is like the
And
bosom
Schmitz.
of Abraham of Ohio.
well, I believe even the people of Ohio can be saved.
So,
But probably won't.
so would the bosom of Abraham then be Lexington, Kentucky? Because there's a vast river in between it and Ohio.
Maybe. I don't know.
They've built a bridge so they can cross, but at some point in time they probably could not.
I listened to someone reading Dante's Inferno, so I didn't have to read it in the original Italian, and it sounded very pretty with how many people were burning forever for their sins. But I'm missing some of the details of exactly what the outer level and stuff is.
He's just an exile settling scores. That's not authoritative theology. That's just score settling.
Anyways. So, can it be a hell?
Totally willing to accept that there is a place of temporary chastisement. But if you're just punishing people and they can never learn their lesson, well, that's just mean. And that's not my Jesus.
Wait a minute. But I don't think... But Jesus isn't yours.
That's not the Jesus that I've known. That's not the Jesus that I follow.
That's fair. Could you be wrong in what you know?
Oh, I've been wrong many times.
Okay. So,
I used to believe that everybody was saved.
almost no hell. And oh so much hell.
I mean, there are clearly people that the church has stated are in heaven, like the apostles and everyone in the Bible named Mary, and those people that got martyred in the Colosseum,
Yeah.
and a couple other people.
Victims of a corrupt and oppressive
So
system.
what is
yeah.
your point?
I'm saying,
So if the church hasn't said you're in heaven, you're in hell?
well, we can't say for sure, so we should err on the side of caution and assume that anyone who's not a saint is in hell. Because if they were in heaven, wouldn't they be doing heavenly things like coming back and healing blind people and stuff?
This comes to my fundamental point. Most people view hell as a tremendous discouragement. Because most of us aren't as good as, Desmond Tutu was. We aren't as good as Cesar Chavez. So if we can't be that good, well, we might as well just give up. Become totally nihilistic. And that is what happened to Silicon Valley. People all of a sudden thought that money was the most important thing.
I'm a little concerned that the people that you are using as examples for goodness are maybe not as good as you think.
Oh. Fair. Okay. So you get to be the sole arbiter of who's good and who's not. Okay.
I'm not. I'm not trying this. I'm trying to stay in the middle of the road.
You got to pick a side at some point, man.
I mean,
I think my staying in the middle is picking a side.
Think about, say, John Henry Newman.
who?
His whole thing was... Okay, you
He's
probably
a
wouldn't...
new saint.
You probably wouldn't acknowledge him. He's too
wouldn't
recent.
Acknowledge him, yeah.
But you would like the fact that he was an Anglican, and he was trying to go down a middle way, and eventually realized that wasn't tenable, and he had to cross the Tiber. Now, whether or not we think that was a mistake, because obviously there's so many things we as the church need to learn from the Church of England, who are far ahead of us in most of the important social issues. But nevertheless, he had to pick a side. So at some point, everybody's got to pick a side. Now, again, I'm a good, faithful Catholic. I just think there's a lot of things we could learn from the Church of England.
I don't think you know what those words mean.
Again,
I'm terribly concerned for you, Rufus.
so now I'm going to hell.
Yes, we've already established that we're all probably going to hell.
Well, at least we'll be in good company.
I wasn't saying you were going. You might possibly be in danger of it.
No, I'll be fine.
Remember, children, the Bible states fairly clearly, and I don't read the Bible, so I don't know this, but I don't know this well, but it states fairly clearly that there's definitely a hell. And if you make all the right choices, you might get to meet Rufus.
Everybody knows the Bible is clear. The way is broad and the road easy that leads to salvation. And the road is very narrow that leads to hell, and few find it.
I think you got that backwards.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm almost positive you got that backwards.
Yes. Like when the priest tells you what the thing he just said actually means, he never says that.
Well, again, an exclusively male priesthood that is all about maintaining its own power. Sure, I'm going to take that opinion very seriously.
I don't think you should listen to Rufus.
So, you should listen to me as far as subscribing, liking, commenting below.
Maybe next time we should let him smoke. He seemed cooler.
I think maybe we should let him smoke. He seemed cooler with the smoking.
It's like they're enforcing a penance on me. So I'm going to enforce it then on everyone else. Just trying to be fair here.
I feel like your need for vengeance is unjust.
Listen, man, this fidget spinner can only get me so far.
Here, take this, please, for the love of everyone.
I'll be cool.
It'll be better next week. I apologize. Stay away from hell. I think that's the message they'd want us to share, essentially, at least.
Listen, absolutely. Stay away from hell, but just don't worry about it. The chances of you going there are very small.
Somewhere in the middle.
So, live your faith.
Score the touchdown.
Ooh, like with those little paper footballs?
Yeah.
That was fun back in the day.
And you're probably going to hell.